kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to Sim Racing Media. Tonight, we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the ECR NextGen League takes to the track for the longest race of the season. It is a 233-lap main event tonight. Last week, there was a road course. Had some a little bit of controversy at the end. Wound up with Ryan Rose electing to forfeit his victory. Tyler Burton got the victory on the track. Tristan Bailey in second, and Aaron Miller wound up P3. then we'll jump on over here and we'll take a look quick at the standings. Got these all set to go here. Tristan Bailey, Dwayne Furtick, John Osborne, all up there pretty tight in points, 610 to 591 with 574 in third. And don't forget also this week is the Eliminator. The Eliminator Challenge. Last week we saw 2 drivers elect to take provisionals on that road course, and that's going to be Colin Bollinger and Brad Rivers. So they are out this week. That sets it up for the 9 remaining drivers: Dwayne Furtick, Tristan Bailey, Tyler Burton, Adam Boughton, Kane Lee, Anthony Ludy, Ryan McCall, Aaron Miller, and Doug Denise as they get ready to finish the qualifying session. Once again, everybody, welcome in. I'm Mike Demoni up in the booth as usual. Jane will be joining us just a little bit here, and we will get trackside.
Happy to be here, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think about them electing to go to Legacy Charlotte here as we get ready to go?
Yeah, I feel like in my experience, Legacy Charlotte, a little more of a worn track. There's going to be a little more tire wear. Just more of a throwback to the classic. I mean, Charlotte is such a traditional track, right? It's really the home of NASCAR. And you think about, there's so many tracks, road courses, plate tracks, they all seem like outside the ordinary. Charlotte is the core of NASCAR racing, and the Legacy track is even more traditional in that sense. This is just going to be a fantastic grind of an endurance kind of race.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. You are also going to see a bunch of military-inspired, patriotic-type paint schemes. It is military paint night here in the ECR, so we got Space Force on the pole with the 40 of Doug Denise out here rolling. Go ahead and bring up the grid real quick. John Osborne just to his outside. Row 2, Adam Boughton and Tristan Bailey. Dwayne Furtick and Michael Carter going to roll off in row number 3. Row 4 is Kyle Diaz with Colin Bollinger making his return from a couple weeks hiatus. Tyler Burton and Anthony Ludy are going to roll off in row number 5. Row 6, Andrew Chapman and Kent Mueller. We got Kane Lee and Christopher Roth in row 7. Row 8 is the 88 of Gary Nash with the 90 of Ryan McCall. Marshall Harris and Matthew Crago Jr. are going to make up row number 9. Row 10, Stan Carnathan and Bradley Rivers. Haven't seen Bradley in a couple weeks as he is back out on track. We got Michael York and Pete Walsh are going to, I believe, are going to be the drivers that are going to start shotgun on the field, as Tristan Forston and Sam Boutwell look like they are not on track and not in the session anymore. So that is where we're going to start as they get ready to head off that 40 machine with his first pole of the season. So as these guys get ready to roll off, it is going to be 233 laps, 7 sets of tires, and only 70% fuel. So pit window should be somewhere around that 50 lap mark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is going to be a long one. 7 sets of tires for these folks, so they're going to have a lot of opportunities to come down pit road, whether it's green flag or yellow flag.
Yeah, I kind of went back and looked and was trying to see if these guys ran here before. They did run once before at the Legacy, and Adam Boughton, John Osborne, and Dwayne Furtick were the top 3 with a dominant performance from Boughton here. As they get ready to come to that green flag, Doug Denise on the bottom side going to lead them on down here as they get ready to roll. Green flag is out, and we are underway here at Charlotte.
Denise getting a great jump on that start. They're too wide behind him.
Oh, caution is already out.
Yeah, almost hard to believe. We could have a yellow so soon. The 11 car stopped on the track. The first rapid fire pizza yellow of the night.
See what happened here. Oh. Matthew Crago Jr. Looked like he got a little bit of run turned down. And then Bradley Rivers just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, made contact with a couple different cars here, starting with the 24.
Yeah, nothing.
It almost has the feel of maybe the 11 didn't have his spotter turned on, because the 24 was definitely there.
Well, and the 15 would have been fine if the 5 wouldn't have hit the 11 there. Michael York trying to sneak down on the inside sends Crago Jr. up into Bradley Rivers. That was a pretty quick caution flag to come out there.
We got 233 laps, so we're not expecting a caution on the first one. And one of the challenges with this legacy Charlotte track is that the Geico restart zone, I don't believe, is actually painted on the track.
Yeah, I don't believe it is, and that is one thing that some of these legacy tracks and stuff go to, is there's not a marked restart zone.
Yeah, so I think this is kind of an old school approach where as soon as the pace car is off, the leader is in control.
Yeah, it looks like they are stacked back up here. Mueller, Crago Jr., and Rivers are all in the pits.
Yeah, just hearing some confirmation over the radio from the league leaders that the leader has control of the restart as soon as that pace car leaves the track. So that Geico restart zone a little bigger than normal.
Yeah, they got quite a ways before that green flag could come out, or as soon as that pace car goes, if they want to, they can hit that foot to the floor and get a huge jump. And since it's Charlotte, that definitely will benefit the leader. Coming out of turn number 4, which is probably going to be one of the more treacherous turns. Pace car is in. And we are back to green flag racing. Didn't waste no time to Doug Denise as he is hard on that accelerator.
Yeah, these drivers really need to settle in. Like we said, this is a long race. A lot of laps, a lot of miles. Find your pace, save your tires, and be there at the end. No need to get aggressive early.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to work through strategy. Just need to log some laps, see where you're going to be, see what your car can do. Put it all in the memory bank, and then when you get towards the end of the race, you can pull that out and work some strategy.
Your pole sitter, Doug Denise, currently 11th in points. Looking for that first win of the season. This would be a defining race for him if he could stay up front at the start and at the end. Right behind him, Tristan Bailey, your points leader in the 9 car. 3 wins on the season. And then Adam Boughton, 5th place in points, looking for his first win of the season. That Wounded Warrior Project paint scheme looking really sharp here at Charlotte. These 3 on a bit of a breakaway on the rest of the pack.
They're running almost identical lap times, and the 3 behind them are also pretty tight as far as the time goes. In practice, we saw these guys breaking that 30-second mark. They have not done it yet, but I'm sure they will once they get up to speed here.
Dwayne Furtick in the 51 running that Aero McLaren paint scheme. Papaya orange, as they like to call it.
I'm going to be starting on the pole tomorrow.
Just behind him, Michael Carter, the 18. He's running 13th in points, looking for his first win of the season as well. Off to a great start.
Looks like everybody's kind of almost single filed out a little bit here. First battle I see on track is going to be Harrison Ludi here side by side.
Oh, contact. Oh, catching another car behind him too. Looks like everybody else able to avoid that. Some skillful driving, but the 21 of Marshall Harris caught up in that one. Gonna tow it to pit road. As they came off the corner. Ooh, I don't know. It looked like the 95 just came down on him. Not sure if he was loose or what there.
On board here with the 95.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he had to be loose. There's really no other reason to be coming down the track at that point of the backstretch.
And just look at all the carnage there too.
We have a whole heap of cars hitting pit road.
Back here with Stan Carnathan.
Oh, a little bit of contact from both cars there for Carnathan. Again, just not expecting this kind of caution fest early in the race like this. We still have 222 laps to go. We've already had our second big caution. But Doug Denise is still sitting out front, leading all 11 laps so far.
Yeah, definitely found out where you want to be as far as the way this race is kind of playing out right now. Denise, Bailey, Boughton all up there.
Yeah, Charlotte's one of those tracks. Feels like it has a couple lanes, 2 for sure, maybe 3 when you need it, until there's a wreck and you're trying to avoid it. Then it feels really tight. Your car is kind of already committed to whatever line you've put it on for exit. And if there's a wreck in front of you, there's not all that much you can do to avoid it.
Yeah, not too much. Osborne, York, Chapman, and Mueller all back out on the track. Kane Lee, Nash, McCall, Stan Carnathan, Ludi. Looks like Marshall Harris put it on the hauler. Bradley Rivers still on pit road, as is Matthew Crago Jr. Like right now, 14 cars are on the track.
Yeah, somebody needs to remind these guys how long this race is. This is going to be an endurance race, not a sprint. And giving up a position early is probably okay as long as you stay in it till the end.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to make your way through the field here if you are in the back. And right now, Pete Walsh started at the back, and he's already up to 10th just by avoiding all of the incidents on track. Pace car makes that left-hand turn. Doug Denise with the button, and he is going to wait till almost. Wow. That's the latest we've seen him take off, and he is able to work his way back out front, side by side behind him.
Yeah, as we mentioned, this Legacy Charlotte track does not have a Geico restart zone, so the leader has a lot more liberty with how early or how late to make that green flag kick into action.
Yeah, we were just talking about how this is a endurance race, and we see some pretty big moves early on. Like Kyle Diaz, Colin Bollinger, Michael Carter all kind of wanted to get at least a spot there. I think they kind of settled back down, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody in this field who is playing the long game, trying to save tires on these early runs. We're going to see them march to the front at the end of this. But right now, everybody fighting for every position, especially here in the top 5. It's Tristan Bailey all over the bumper of Doug Denise, trying to find some clean air. And as he looks to the outside, Denise going to guard the bottom. Bailey going to go to the high side. Looking fast right there as he checks up a little bit on exit, but he's going to clear Denise and take the lead away.
And as I said, under 30-second laps is what we were seeing in practice, and we just saw quite a few there. A lot of 29.9s coming through.
As Boughton in the 94 takes second position away. He's looking for the lead.
And as this race goes on, that track is going to cool off a little bit. Right now, I mean, it's only 80 degrees, so they have plenty of grip here as they're working around the track.
I feel like this track just has such roots in anyone who kind of started in iRacing in the last 5 or 6 years. This track, racing street stocks and ARCA cars and things, this is where you really prove your worth and work your way up the ladder before you find a league like ECR here.
Yeah, it's definitely a place to start. I remember when I first started racing street stocks and found out I'd probably be better up here in the booth. But you have those fixed setups, and some of those guys just know how to work them and just are way faster.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not sure I've figured out whether I'm better in the booth or better on the track just yet. I'm a pretty mediocre at both is how I feel.
Yeah.
But having a lot of fun here with ECR on Saturday night. Here in the ECR 350.
Kyle Diaz still trying to push by. Looks like Furtick's going to look to the bottom, try and get up here for P2.
Dwayne Furtick with 10 top 10s on the season out of 13 races. Very consistent. 9 top 5s. Furtick has been just one of those drivers to always show up near the podium at the end of the race. He is up to P2. here, just 22 laps into this one at Charlotte. As Denise continues to fall back from that pole position.
Yeah, he was the fastest in practice too, so I know he can run some hot laps. He was hanging out up front. Maybe he's elected to cool it down a little bit, kind of log some laps, get comfortable, and then kind of play more of a long game here. Looks like Furtick's gonna peek his nose to the inside, try and go for the lead.
Taking a look, not gonna be there this time. But like a lot of tracks in this next-gen car, just getting some clean air on your nose is really the key to being fast while also saving tires. So I think that last lap, Bailey left the bottom lane open and Furtick took it. But that lap there, Bailey going to hug the bottom line. Furtick going to take the dirty air off of the 9 car and just can't make up any ground.
And they're side by side behind them, with Bollinger trying to get that 53 Toyota just to the inside of Botten. But Denise is trying to battle back a little bit here on the inside.
Yeah, 2 by 2 here in the battle for 5th place. I always felt like the bottom line was where you really wanted to be here at Charlotte, but that high line might have some tire saving strategy if you're able to do it just right. Bollinger now up to 3rd. As Burden and Lawton are battling for 4th. Burden going to take it away for now.
Yeah, Burden's been running that higher line, and it seems to be working fairly well. He's up 5 spots from where he started. Going back, looking at a battle brewing back here between Roth and York.
Yeah, Michael York, another one of our rapid fire pizza drivers in that 5 car, looking down low. Roth blinking out for just a moment. In the 62, he's back there. It's a 5 trying to clear him, not quite going to do it before the entry to the turn.
Still hanging tough on that bottom side is York, just can't quite get by.
I feel like that's really the worst position you can be in when you're trying to make a pass on the low side. You're kind of using up your right front to keep the speed going on the bottom, and then you come off the corner and don't clear the guy on your outside, and you got to do it again. See Kyle Diaz just off the front bumper of Michael Carter in the 18.
These battles about mid-pack.
Christopher Roth clearing the 5. Running P9.
Yeah, and to your point, you can see there as all of those cars run several different lines coming through the corner, just how wide that track tends to play here. York trying to run a little bit different there to get a little bit of fresh air on the nose of that number 5 Chevy. Back up towards the front is the 06. Trying to improve another position here. Looking back through the field, looks like Anthony Ludi had also called it a night with Marshall Harris. Dan Carnathan, Gary Nash, and Kane Lee all still in the pits. Matthew Crago Jr. back out on the track, running P18 right now. Rivers and McCall also on the track.
This battle at the front has not spaced out. 4 drivers within 0.3 of a second. Bollinger looking to the outside of Boughton in the 94. Ooh, gonna tag the wall just a little bit. Didn't really slow him down, though, as he continues to work on the pass on Adam Boughton.
I think coming out of turn 4, we're going to see once those tires start to wear, that wall come out a little bit faster than some drivers are ready for here as Bollinger slides in front of the 94 there.
Yeah, most of our leaders are now 33 laps into this run. They have not pitted yet in the race. First car to have pitted since then is Michael York, now in P9. He's got about a 10 lap advantage over our leaders. It hasn't really given him much speed compared to them, though, yet.
No, he made a couple pit stops. He was involved in that first early incident. Got back out on the track. Looks like he came down on lap 11 there and just took fuel only, so maybe trying something a little bit different here.
Michael York looking back inside of Christopher Roth. And just behind him, the 81 of John Osborne, trying to find his way up through with Andrew Chapman in the 25. This is really a tight bunch of cars here battling for 10th position.
Yeah, you got these guys battling back here and then back up front. These guys have kind of slowed down just a little bit as far as trying to make passes. They're single filed out, logging some laps here.
Is now Boughton in the 94 looking to the outside. Going to take P2.
Bailey got a little too close to that outside wall.
And this may look calm, but I mean, this is every lap. These drivers are making decisions about how hard do I want to push my tires? Do I want to challenge the leader? Do I want to wait a lap? Do I want to wait 10 laps even? Is Boughton going to look to the inside of the 9? They're now 37 laps into this run.
Bailey still trying to run that high line, stay up there and stay in P1, but it is not working through 1 and 2.
Yeah, neither one of these drivers really being too aggressive with the side draft. I think they're going to need to use that to really complete this pass. Bailey checks up just a little bit, and the 94 pulls in front. The 9 fights back on the outside. As the 94 clears him coming out of turn 2. Bollinger gets by Furtick for P3.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we're probably going to hear some of these guys, key up on the radio, decide when they're going to come down to make their pit stops. They should be good for, I'd say, probably another 10 laps or so with the cautions that we had.
Yeah, it looks like the 74 is on pit road this lap. That's Pete Walsh. He's the first to hit pit road in this cycle. It sounds like the 51 of Dwayne Furtick will be coming in this lap.
40 Toyota of Denise is back up inside the top 5 now.
So jot that down in your crew chief notebook. Pit stop starting around lap 40. We did have a couple cautions in there to stretch it out. But that seems to be the number. If you were to pit every 40 laps, that would give you about a 5-stop pit strategy for the whole race.
The pit crews are definitely going to have to be on it on this race.
Burdick and Walsh both opting to take 4 tires on their pit stops. They're currently 1 lap down. I should cycle back as everyone comes down pit road. But our leader's staying on the track.
Doesn't look like he's planning on coming in yet. I'm about to
It'd be
start
hard to
finish
pit
line.
from the lead. It's really nice being out front with that clean air.
That's definitely something you have to pay attention to, you know. When do you want to come in? At least it's not as important as, you know, the super speedways. If you come in by yourself, you're not going to lose a ton of time or anything to that effect, but it's still nice to have a couple of people come with you.
Yeah, I think the tire advantage would be probably the biggest factor here as we look at our leaders. About a 1.2, 1.3 seconds difference between their fresh tire best lap and what they're running right now. So as Furtick and Walsh cycle through, they should be in pretty good position as these leaders continue to run on those old tires, like we said, losing about just over a second a lap.
Yeah, looking
Those
at
fresh tire paces.
Yeah, looking at the last lap for Furtick, it was a 30.27 the last lap. Or Bailey was a 31.22, so a second a lap is quite a bit when you're, you know, talking per lap.
But Furtick and Walsh and now Diaz, they are a lap down. They would be trapped there if a caution were to come out. So a little bit of a gamble. You pit early, you make up some time, but if a caution were to come out, you could get trapped and have to take a wave around, stay on old tires for the next run. It's now the 53 of Colin Bollinger going for the lead. Doug Denise right on his bumper, trying to follow through past Bailey. Or my apologies, actually, Adam Boughton is in the lead.
I was gonna
A
say,
second and a half ahead of these guys.
Boughton just checked out. He's like, peace, guys. You guys can stay back here and fight. I'm gone. And he just ran a 31.06 to Bailey's 31.49, so 0.3 faster for the leader.
Yeah, he's got something figured out. At this point in the run, there's no use in saving tires. You're about to pit. I think the 94 coming in this time. He's really checking out.
53 down pit lane. Bollinger. 40 staying out.
Oh. A lot of the leaders pitting this time by. This is lap 50. You gotta think that the 40 and the 81 and the 25 are gonna be coming this lap, maybe the next one. You can only save so much.
Looks like the 40's coming down. 81 is not.
Yeah, the 81, one of those cars that pitted under an earlier caution. He's got another 10 laps or so. He could stay out if he wants to.
The driver right behind him is going to be Dwayne Furtick. Furtick's going to try and get his lap back the hard way.
Furtick, the first of the cars that has pitted. We see the difference between old tires and fresh tires. 51 goes right by the 81. Their lap times are about 0.6 different. John Osborne, your leader in the 81. He's got almost the entire field trapped a lap down with this extra 10 laps of fuel strategy kind of baked in to what he's been doing on pit road so far. That's the 81 of Osborne, the 25 of Chapman, and the 5 of Michael York. They all stopped kind of around the same time on lap 11 on one of our early cautions. That has brought them to the front. Furtick, the only car that's been able to unlap himself of the cars that have pitted so far. So take a look at Bradley Rivers. 9 laps down after being involved in an early caution. He's going to be coming to pit road this time by.
Yeah, got involved in the first lap melee. He stayed on. He's completed 46 laps now, so.
Osborne out front. He's your third place driver in points. The best scoring driver in the standings without a win yet this season. Would love to take a win home here at Charlotte and cement his spot in the standings. 11 top 10s on the season, the most of any driver. Driving at marines.com. 81 Camaro. Now 45 laps into this fuel run for the 81, the 25, and the 5.
And that is almost a 4.5 second gap between Osborne and Chapman.
Again, you see the difference in speed there for fresh tires and old tires. A couple cars blowing by the 81 now. That speed differential now well over a second. Adam Boughton running sub 30-second laps right now. That's a 1.5 seconds faster than the 81 of Osborne.
Now Osborne out here all by himself now as Chapman and York come down pit lane.
It's like Chapman might have picked up a speeding penalty on pit road. Yeah, that's going to hurt his running.
Yep. Like I said, pit crew, but also drivers coming down pit lane are definitely going to have to pay more attention here and get down to speed. No mistakes with how many pit stops they're going to have to make tonight.
And there goes the 81 of Osborne down pit road. That's going to cycle back to the 51 of Dwayne Furtick to be your leader. He has about a 3.5 second lead over the 94 of Adam Boughton. So again, jot that down in your crew chief notebook. About 49 laps is pretty much the furthest we've seen anybody make it here, even with a couple cautions. With 173 to go, that's at least 3 more stops for everybody. Dwayne Furtick is now your leader. He is already 20 laps into his fuel run. Oh, is that Chapman around on the front stretch? Heading into turn 1. That's going to bring out the Rapid Fire Pizza yellow flag one more time. Not everybody kind of cycling back to where they should have been. Just 11 cars on the lead lap. There is that caution. Kind of came out during the green flag pit cycle. Going to trap a couple cars a lap down.
Yeah, take a look here, see what happened to Chapman. Fresh tires?
Maybe missed a shift coming off a pit road.
That's one of the things that happens here at Charlotte, though, is you get those cold tires and you try and get back on the throttle under the green flag run and you wind up spinning out there.
Yeah, that pit road exit, you are pushing it as hard as you can without getting too loose to try and get back up to speed on the backstretch. And like I said, that almost looked like a missed shift or something like that, where he just really just kicked it sideways without expecting to. That's going to leave the 94 of Adam Boughton in the lead as Dwayne Furtick came down pit road. He had pitted almost 8 laps earlier than most of the other drivers. And with so few drivers on the lead lap, it seems to be his strategy play here. As Furtick should cycle out around 7th place.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to lose a lot of ground. He's going to be on the better side of the pit situation. So he can probably run a few more laps than the drivers in front of him.
Yeah, as I'm looking at the 94 of Boughton, the 40 of Denise, the 18 of Michael Carter, and the 8 of Kent Mueller, those are your top 4. They have all pitted about 12 to 14 laps ago. Still needing 3 stops. And then behind them, Tristan Bailey, Dwayne Furtick, John Osborne. He stopped 4 laps ago, so just before the caution. Then Tristan Bailey, Furtick, Bollinger, Diaz, Burden, Walsh, York. They all stopped under this caution right here. And they are making up the 12 cars still on the lead lap. This has gone pretty quick with 22 cars starting the race, and we are already down to just 12 on the lead lap. Christopher Roth is the lone car 1 lap down. He'll be in that lucky dog position if another caution were to come out quick. And Chapman, Ryan McCall, Bradley Rivers, they are multiple laps down. As we are back green again, Adam Boughton leading these drivers out front in the 94. Behind him, Michael Carter battling with Doug Denise for second place. Carter going to take it away. Kent Mueller and Tristan Bailey just behind them. Mueller looks low. Again, Charlotte, one of those tracks where you can choose to use up your tires early to get some positions, or you can opt to play the long game. As we've seen some long green flag runs already here tonight, saving tires might be the way to get yourself back up to the front.
Yeah, it might be the right strategy call, but with 12 cars on the lead lap, I don't envision these guys hanging back too far, as Dwayne Furtick cycled out P7, and now he is trying to work his way around Tyler Burton to get to Colin Bollinger there for P6, as Bollinger goes to the high side of Bailey.
Yeah, Furtick and Bailey, those first two cars on fresh tires, about a 12-lap advantage over these guys in front of them. We saw early in the race that a 10, 12-lap difference in tires really wasn't enough to make a difference. So if these guys are going to make a move, it's probably going to be later in the run.
Yeah, I'd assume
Furtick gets around Denise.
I was gonna say, I would assume that it's going to be a little bit later in the run here, but Furtick is not wasting any time as he's going to the high side of Mueller there, trying to get by, as Bollinger 29.77 fastest lap of the race, and he just goes 29.75.
Yeah, that 53 has something for him tonight. As he looks to the outside of the 94. If you're the leader, I'm not really sure what line you should guard. We've seen the high line kind of be the preferred one all night to save tires and be fast, but here, Bollinger going to go around the 94, take the lead away, and start to gap the rest of the field as well. As Furtick now up to third on the inside of Michael Carter.
Furtick didn't waste any time getting back up here.
Diving inside.
I'm kind of surprised Bailey or Burton hasn't been able to make it work as well as Furtick did. Maybe they're saving their tires a little bit, trying to make a run a little bit later in this run, expecting a longer green flag run.
Yeah, again, we can't stress enough. This is a long race, you know, kind of modeled after the Coke 600, 233 laps here, 350 miles at Charlotte. We are still just 73 laps into this one. A long way to go. You got to take care of your car for the whole race and take care of your tires for this run. As Furtick looking to the inside of your leader, Colin Bollinger, side by side at the line. You gotta wonder how much of his tires he's using up to make this march to the front as the 53 battles back on the outside. Kind of pulls that lead back to him. Furtick gonna tuck in behind him.
That was a huge run there for Furtick, trying to push his way by, trying to get a little time here, get some fresh air on the nose of that 51 Chevy.
Look at our battle for fourth place. Michael Carter battling through what looks to be some lap cars of the 25 of Andrew Chapp, 15 of Bradley Rivers.
Yeah, lap cars all mixed in as well. It's kind of got to be a little heartbreaking there, especially if you're, Bradley Rivers. Have a relatively fast car. You're able to race with these leaders around you, but Chapman hits that outside wall. But because of a little race,
these guys.
early race incident, you're trapped laps down.
Yeah, Chapman 3 laps down, Rivers 9 laps down. When you're 1 lap down, you still have hope. You're thinking, hey, I can get that lucky dog. When you're 2 laps down, you're getting desperate. You can think, hey, I'll take a wave around and then I can get that lucky. If you're 9 laps down, I don't know what hope you have left other than to just do your best and hope a bunch of other drivers wreck out and go 10 laps down.
Yeah, I mean, lots of cautions.
Yeah, Christopher Roth, the only car currently 1 lap down, sitting in that lucky dog position. If he were to get it there, then Chapman, even though he's 3 laps down, he would be eligible for the lucky dog because nobody would be 1 lap down in front of him. But these drivers are keeping it pretty clean tonight here with the Elite Cup Racing League. Not a ton of those rapid fire pizza yellows. Lawton dealing with those lap cars. Rivers and Chapman.
Well, as these guys have kind of single filed out a little bit, we'll step aside. We'll go side by side. You won't miss anything. We've got a lot of racing action yet to come here tonight. But we'll step aside. We'll go picture in picture. You won't miss anything. And we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. You didn't miss anything while we were away. Race leader still Colin Bollinger and Dwayne Furtick trying to chase him down in second. Kyle Diaz up to third with Tristan Bailey and Tyler Burden rounding out that top 5.
As I look through the field, the story so far is Pete Walsh in 6th and Michael York in 7th. They are up 16 and 14 positions respectively. Really making the most of this race here at Charlotte. Solidly in the top 10, making moves as Pete Walsh just passed Michael York up to P6 and starts to chase down the 06 of Tyler Burden in 5th.
Tyler Burden has like Chapman between himself and Tristan Bailey.
Chapman a lap down, or actually multiple laps down, 3 laps down. We saw early on that Chapman and Rivers were kind of moving their way up through these leaders, and now their tires starting to fall off. The leader's going back by them. As Furtick has made his way up to the bumper of Bollinger. Both of these drivers 28 laps into this run. Just a little over halfway of what the maximum fuel run seems to be. About 50 laps.
Yeah, they've kind of checked out almost in their own zip code as they have a 2.5-second lead over Kyle Diaz. Diaz pretty much running by himself with Tristan Bailey, Tyler Burden back behind him, almost a second and a half. Looks like tire strategy might be playing a little factor here in that 94 Toyota going the wrong way.
Yeah, the 94, he's 42 laps into this run. I believe he's going to come down pit road this lap. It's going to leave him with 2 more stops if this thing stays green.
And Michael Carter came down as well.
And Boughton won the kind of preseason clash at Monza, but has not secured a victory here in the regular season. While Bollinger has won at Bristol, Vegas, and Atlanta. 3 wins on the season. Furtick winning at Miami and Texas. Both of these drivers trying to secure up their point standings as we head into the 14th race of the season here at Charlotte.
Yeah, this is a long season too. It's not like some of these seasons where where it's 20 weeks or what have you. I mean,
yeah, 31 races altogether, starting with that preseason clash. So 30 races in the season. The chase for the ECR Cup starts in September, all the way up to our championship race at Auto Club Speedway, October 25th. So we've got a long way to go. Still plenty of time for these drivers to make their mark on the league, secure some wins, and grab those points.
yeah, definitely. I was looking at their schedule, and they are definitely aware of when the real-life NASCAR races are happening. So they take those weeks off looking at the end of the season, you're pretty well set on who's going to be in the chase on August 9th, because they have the 16th off, the 23rd off, the 30th off, and then you have September 6th Daytona is your last chance to make that chase. That starts in September 20th.
'53 continuing to hold off 51 of Dwayne Furtick. Back in 9th place is Michael York, battling just behind Doug Denise and ahead of the 11 car. I believe he's a lap down. That's Matthew Crego Jr. A couple laps down. Kent Mueller, 2 seconds back behind York. And he is the last car on the lead lap. Just 10 cars on your lead lap right now.
The fastest driver on track is going to be that 94 Toyota. Just went a 29.72 after making that pit stop on that 93, Braden Boughton.
Yeah, pitting just 5 laps ago. Trying to get his lap back to keep from being caught down if a caution were to come out. On a little bit of a different pit strategy than most of our leaders, who are now 37 laps into their fuel run.
Yeah, everybody's trying to find where they want to be, what they need. 40 coming in. The 8 of Kent Mueller as well.
Yeah, Mueller and Denise were at 48 and 49 laps into their run. They needed to come down pit road now. A little bit of a gamble that did not pay off, as our leaders probably have another 10 laps, at least the top 5 do, before they need to come to pit road.
Yeah, definitely swap some strategy. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. You know, when you're talking money stop here towards the end of the race, what is going to get you the win? You know, trying to do a little short pit stop to get back out on the track first, or stay out as long as you can and make the fastest run towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of wiggle room here with the laps to the left. With 130 to go, we're 40 laps into this fuel run for most of our leaders. If you were going to split it perfectly even, you'd probably go about 43 laps.
Furtick breaks off, comes down pit lane.
Yeah, he might be the one thinking, hey, I'm going to try to split this as even as I can, get an advantage. But we know these drivers can go about 50 laps or so. Maybe a little less if there hasn't been any cautions, any yellow flags. So if you're playing the kind of the conservative strategy, in case there is a caution, you could stay out another 6 or 7 laps.
And Bollinger has over a 2.5 second lead over Tristan Bailey now. Looks like he's coming. Maybe not.
Not just yet. With Kyle Diaz hitting pit road, we have only 5 drivers on the lead lap right now.
I would have thought Osborne should have came down, as he last pitted on lap 60, so he has got to be feeling pretty leery about staying out any longer than he has to here. Imagine he's going to be coming down this time.
Yeah, he'll certainly be probably the next car to come, but when you're sitting B3, that feels pretty good. you're not going to want to abandon it earlier than you need to. He seems to be one of those drivers that even though he's not on the exact same pit strategy as everyone else, he is making the most of it.
Fresh tires going by on the inside.
Yeah, the 94 needs to get his lap back as soon as he can. Still 2.5 seconds behind the leader, Colin Bollinger. That 53 just looks really comfortable out there. As we hear him come on the radio, I believe he's pitting this time. That's 45 laps into the run. So it looks like he's going to try to split these final few runs a little evenly.
With him coming down, that gave Lawton the lap back the hard way there, so he is on the lead lap.
Kristen Bailey now your leader, with Osborne right behind him. It sounds like Osborne's coming down pit road this time. That will leave just Bailey, Walsh, and Boughton on the lead lap.
It looks like Osborne made almost 51 laps on that fuel run. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's the longest we've seen anybody go today.
Yeah, Bailey in, Walsh probably going to come in, going to turn the lead back over.
Yeah, this fuel strategy is really going to kind of pan out into a spectrum here, as the 94 should inherit the lead. He's already 17 laps into his run. Then behind him will be Dwayne Furtick, just 6 laps into his run. So we should expect Furtick to make some ground up on the 94 with pretty significantly fresher tires. And then everybody behind them kind of all over. So we've got people who pitted 18 laps ago, people who pitted this lap, people who pitted 10 laps ago. Really a hodgepodge of strategies setting us up for the last few pit stops. With 121 to go, drivers will all still need 2 stops. At least.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have to figure that out when they want to split that up. Like we were saying, you said split it in 2, make it 43 each, and then you have other drivers that are going to try and extend it as far as they can.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. And we won't, you can't tell who's using the best strategy until we know when the next caution is, because that's going to change everything. Right now, Boughton is looking great out front, even though he's losing time to Frick in P2. You take a look at those lap times, losing between 2 and 4/10 of a second every lap. But he has the lead for now.
I mean, and that's only 11 lap different tires.
Yeah, he probably is, just because he has those older tires, he's got to save a little bit more too to get to the end on the same number of stops. But even if Furtick is to catch him, Diaz in 3rd place is another 3 seconds behind both of them. So Boughton looking pretty good at the moment. Bollinger pretty much right there with Diaz in P4. And drivers spread out all the way around the track here at Charlotte. Diaz now making his way up to third.
We started the race with 22 cars on track, and only 2 have pretty much called it a day. There's still a couple on pit lane trying to get repairs done. They're going to spend almost an hour on pit lane as Kane Lee and Gary Nash, but they're still here. They're still trying to hang out.
'26 and '53 continuing to battle side by side for a P3. '53 going to take it away. Right along with Kyle Diaz in the '26. The sun almost setting here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as we are now just past halfway with 115 laps to go. 12 cars still on the lead lap, as Furtick has gotten around Adam Boughton up front. As we mentioned, an 11 lap difference in tires. As Furtick starts to pull away.
Go back in time real quick and take a look here at that pass while we're on board with Diaz.
You can really see how much difference in speed there is with those fresh tires, able to dive it right down to the bottom and just drive by him.
And now he's already out to a second lead now.
That last cycle,
back here.
Boughton was the most aggressive, pitting pretty much 10, 11, 12 laps before everybody else in that lead pack. And Furtick is the next driver, kind of pitted a little bit earlier than everybody else. Bollinger in the 53, he's 5 laps behind the pit strategy of Furtick, so he might have a little bit to say about this before it's all done. He's riding P2 now around the 94. That 53 car does have the fastest lap all day, a 29.6. He turned on lap 112, just 10 laps ago.
It looks like Kyle Diaz is closing in as well. This is going to be the closest battle on track at the moment.
Tristan Bailey, your points leader, trying to make his way around Tyler Burden. He can get to the bumper, but he can't get around him.
They might be trying to work together to close in, though, too. Trying anything they can to get up there.
I just feel like if you're Bailey, every lap you spend in the wake of the 06, you're kind of tearing up your front tires with that dirty air. Kyle Diaz now solidly in that third position, 3.5 seconds behind the leader and a second ahead of fourth place Adam Bott.
I think that 94 is going to have to come to pit lane probably within the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, he's 33 laps into this run. I'm just not sure the strategy is going to play out for him. Unless the caution falls at just the right time, which would be kind of the next cycle of pit stops. Sounds like he's coming down this time, which actually, I mean, he's going to have to stretch it to make it to the end on one more stop.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why these drivers are pitting this early. With 105 to go, and the longest we've seen anyone go is about 50 or 51 laps. They cannot make it on one more stop. Seems a little premature to me.
Yeah, and I don't think they haven't.
I don't.
I don't think they have enough speed to make up for an extra pit stop here. Either that, or they're hoping for one of those rapid fire pizza yellow flags to come out at just the right time to reset the whole field here.
Yeah, that's kind of the earliest we've seen anyone pit. There's 34 laps into a run. Oh, it's got me scratching my head. This verdict continues to lead. Bollinger starting to catch up to him ever so slightly. About 0.2 a lap. And they have about a 3-second lead over third place Kyle Diaz, so it's really these two battling at the front. There, another 10.5 for Bollinger. He has cut the lead down to a 0.5 second. Just a 5-lap difference in tires for these two drivers, but that seems to be making the difference right now.
Yeah, I think when they start to run out, I'm assuming Furtick's probably going to start to slow down, before Bollinger, and Bollinger's going to be able to reel him in. And Furtick used a lot of his tires, I do believe, to get to the lead.
Almost 0.2 of a second that lap. Bollinger starting to reel him in. Both of these drivers approaching 30 laps on fuel. Meanwhile, the battle for fourth place heating up between Tyler Burden and Tristan Bailey. Earlier we said we thought they might be kind of working together to build some speed, but here it just looks like they're still fighting it out.
Yeah, they were able to close in on Kyle Diaz, but now where do you go? I mean, you can't just stay behind Diaz and hope that the three of you can work together enough to get back to Colin Bollinger. Bollinger is almost 4 seconds in front of them.
Yeah, I'm looking to make a move on your leader, Dwayne Furtick. He is there. Gonna look high. He's been making that high line work all race long, but Furtick got to throw a little bit of a block.
Yeah, slides up just a little bit. Going to take the air off the nose of that 53 Toyota as Bollinger pulls out and goes down to the bottom. Furtick's going to stay right with him, block the low line as well.
These two right back together as the 53 dives inside. Going down the backstretch. Gonna look to the bottom in turn 3. Can he clear him? Almost.
Still side by side. Not quite enough to clear.
Not giving it up. Ooh, they almost touch. Trying to keep that side draft going. 51 going to concede it, though.
Lets him slide up. He's going to go back on the attack on the bottom side here. Almost touch. Man. Good hard racing up here for first place between Dwayne Furtick and Colin Bollinger. Still side by side, multiple laps now.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. With 94 laps to go, the battle for the lead means everything. Can't just let him run away with it, even if he's got better tires. Furtick gonna pull up to the side of Bollinger one more time. They dive into turn 1. Just neck and neck even.
Bollinger with a little better drive off coming down the backstretch. Furtick's still going to hang tight on the bottom.
Ooh, and right there, you can see the 53 took away the clean air. And the 51 had to check up. And just like that, that multi-lap battle for the lead is over as the 53 conquers and moves on. Already 0.3 of a second ahead. While these two were battling, Tyler Burden and Tristan Bailey, and for that matter, Kyle Diaz, all behind them, they were gaining. Now 2.5 seconds behind your leader.
Yeah, while that battle was going on, they lost almost 2 seconds to the drivers back here in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ooh, Bailey in the wall.
He is certainly using every inch of the track. Boughton making a little contact there. Again, Boughton is a lap down. Kind of on a very different pit cycle at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Bailey saw him down there. Didn't expect anybody to make that run as they were been working together with, or working around Tyler or Kyle Diaz and Tyler Burden there. But
again, you can see the value of the fresh tires as the 94 just blows by on his way to try and get his lap back in this pit cycle.
he's almost 0.8 faster than the leaders right at the moment.
With 88 laps to go, we're going to expect our leaders to come down pit road in the next 10 laps. And that will leave them needing just one more stop to make it to the end if we stay green. A lot of options on when to pit on that last stop. As we've seen drivers go 49, 50, 51 laps maximum. if you were to split this final stop, you'd only need about 40 laps to do it. The 53 out front now, a second lead over the 51 of Dwayne Furtick. The sun has set and the moon is out here at Charlotte. The 53 really loving the nighttime. They say the nighttime is the right time here for Colin Bollinger.
Roth coming out of the pits. Yeah, just trying to figure out what strategy could be on tap here for that 94. As he last came down and pitted on lap 128 of Dwayne Furtick coming down now. So I'm going to assume he's probably going to need to pit twice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he stretched it all the way, he could get to lap 50 and do it on one stop, but it's certainly not going to be the fast strategy. As it sounds like our leader, the 53, is going to be pitting this time by, and there we see him dive to pit road. That will leave Tyler Burden in the lead. Kyle Diaz also coming down pit road that lap, as well as John Osborne and Kent Mueller. So it seems like without any caution laps to kind of break it up, the maximum green flag cycles about 44 laps. So for those drivers pitting just now, they're pretty much going to split this final section of the race in half. As Burden is calling out on the radio, he's going to pit this time.
If Bailey stays out, looks like Bailey's probably going to stay out here.
Now, Bailey has 2 laps more in the tank than those drivers around him.
Pete Walsh,
Bailey.
Pete Walsh, another driver, hasn't hit pit lane yet.
Yeah, I was going to say Bailey with a 17-second lead over second place, but he's going to hit pit road right here. So we see a lot of these drivers really pushing the envelope with how fast they're hitting pit road. No black flags yet on this cycle. Walsh, 40 laps into his run. He's going to need to pit soon, but then that's going to cycle back to Adam Balton once again, just 23 laps into this. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be able to do this on one more stop. He really needs a caution to reset the field and give him a chance to sync back up with these other drivers.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely looking like that from everything that I can see.
$80 laps to go here at Charlotte for the ECR Cup Series. Adam Balton, your leader, 8 seconds ahead of Dwayne Furtick, but Furtick on the move. Just over a half a second faster a lap. And seemingly on the better pit strategy. Just ahead of the 53, who's on the same strategy as him.
So the fastest man on the track, though, is not up front. It's going to be this 8 of Kent Mueller. A 29.62.
Yeah, he pitted 6 laps ago. He is currently the lucky dog. First car 1 lap down.
And then Tristan Bailey just goes and does a 29.61.
Yeah, I think the colder this track gets, the faster it's going to get. These drivers are starting to find that nighttime line. And this has been an endurance race as we look back through the field. Looks like only 16 or so drivers are still on track, with only 9 of those drivers on the lead lap.
With that being said, and our pit stops over for this cycle, we'll step aside for our second and final commercial break. You won't miss anything as we'll go side by side, and we'll come back to close out this ECR 350 from Charlotte. All right, welcome back, everybody. Didn't miss anything while we were away. Adam Boughton brought that 94 Toyota down pit lane. Made his next pit stop on lap 163. We'll see where that's going to shake out to. He's definitely going to have to make one more pit stop. Might be hoping for a yellow flag to kind of reset it a little bit. But we'll see what happens here as he is currently the first car a lap down.
Yeah, at the front, Dwayne Furtick and Colin Bollinger kind of throwing down, trying to save tires, save fuel, but also give me that lead.
Yeah, they're definitely putting on a show out here.
You mentioned Bollinger with 3 wins on the season, Furtick with 2. No strangers to the podium. 19 top 10s between these two drivers this season. Bollinger starting to apply the pressure to the bumper of Furtick. Now just 9 cars on the lead lap.
Wow. Look at that lap time for Adam Boughton here as he is 29:53.
Doing his best to catch up to these leaders, unlap himself. Again, I think he's going to need a caution for his strategy to really pay off. And ideally, it would come after these leaders make their next pit stops. But that's not going to be for another 20 laps.
He is... we'll say coming out of 4 here. And the leaders are just entering 1. So basically a stretch is all he has to make up here in order to get his lap back. And he'll probably be able to do that as he does have about 20 lap fresher tires.
Yeah, just about 6 seconds back from these leaders. As now the 53 kind of puts the pedal to the floor and starts to pull away from the 51. Might have been saving a little bit. And then when they got to his bumper, he said, all right, it's time to go.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he found something there for a little bit. I was looking at the Eliminator Challenge as we only have 9 drivers left in it, and then 1 gets cut this week. And looking at who's in, a driver I'm not seeing is Aaron Miller. So it looks like Aaron Miller might be the driver that gets cut this week. Which is definitely good news for Anthony Ludi, as he was involved in a crash on lap. Looks like 10 is when he called it quits today.
Furtick starting to fade back just a little bit. Now 3/10 of a second lead. Colin Bollinger. So we have 57 laps to go here in the ECR 350 at Charlotte. At least one more stop coming for everybody on track. Question is just when. If you're the 53 and you want to split it right down the middle, you're probably going to come in about 13 laps, around lap 42. But that leaves the window open. A couple drivers could go long to try and hope for a caution. They could go short to try and get a little bit better tire advantage. If you're someone like maybe John Osborne, Doug Denise, you're on the lead lap, but you're not really in contention for the win. You might want to try something a little bit different. And now Kent Mueller actually ahead of Adam Boughton. That lucky dog position is both of those drivers trying to unlap themselves. Stay in contention here. Mueller just about 2 seconds off of the leader.
Yeah, he can see him now. I'm going to say if you're Osborne or Denise or even Walsh, you're probably looking at trying to come down somewhere around lap 190. And 188 maybe. And just to see if maybe you can short pit, get those fresh tires, and then just hope that you're out far enough in front that they can kind of hang on.
Yeah, without a caution, a lot of these drivers are kind of on a hope, a wing, and a prayer to get back into contention. When you really look at who's got a shot here, it's really your top three. Bollinger in the 53. Furtick, he's about 8/10 behind Bollinger. Tristan Bailey, a second and a half behind the leader. And then it's 3 seconds back to P4 of Tyler Burden. He really, at this point, that's not close enough to make a move unless something materially changes here in the pit strategy. But Kyle Diaz right on his bumper. They are fighting for P4. And then Osborne, Denise, and Walsh further back, not really battling with our leaders. It looked like Lawton has gotten by the leader to unlap himself, but he's still 30 seconds behind the leader with just 15 lap fresher tires. All of these drivers need to pit one more time. It's 53 scrapes the wall. You got to use every bit of track you can to keep your speed up, and he is doing it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when they elect to come down. With the green flag runs, we've seen roughly 40 to 45 laps is when everybody elects to come down pit lane, so they can make it to the end in probably 2 or 3 laps. But who is going to take that chance and hope that it's the right call?
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're anyone outside the top 3, you're kind of hoping for a caution to give you a chance. See Bailey working on the rear bumper of Furtick. Looking back at that fast, fresh, and affordable Rapid Fire Pizza number 9 car.
It's amazing how many different drivers have been quick here tonight. I mean, we've talked about Bollinger, Furtick, Bailey, Burden. I mean, even Kent Mueller and, the 94 of Adam Boughton out there making some quick times. Just pit strategy is going to be what winds up winning this race, barring something that resets the field.
These two still battling it out. 45 laps to go. Whether it's the battle for the lead or the battle for second, nobody wants to lift.
Kyle Diaz pulling down.
Yeah, pitting out of the 6th position. Kyle. Try to short pit these leaders, see if he can gain anything.
I mean, I don't know that you're really losing anything. Put it that way.
Yeah, especially with these gaps we have here at the end of the race. You're really kind of just gambling that the caution comes at just the right time, that it pays off for you. And by doing something different, you at least carve out a part of that gamble that will work out for you.
You guys came back out on track running P10 now. About 5.5 seconds back from Kent Mueller for that lucky dog position.
We're hearing a number of drivers start to call on the radio and say that they are pitting this time by, as we see our leader, Bollinger, coming down. Furtick right behind him. That's going to leave Tristan Bailey in the lead as he smacks the wall with 41 to go.
Definitely using every inch of the track there, coming out of 2.
And he's coming to pit road. With 41 to go, that leaves Tyler Burden out in front.
Like Pete Walsh
John
going to come
Osborne.
down.
Osborne about 2.5 seconds back. I think he's going to be coming to pit road this time. There he goes. Again, these drivers doing such a great job. Nobody getting a speeding penalty in the last couple stops. Everybody pushing hard to get as much time as they can. Sounds like Burden's going to be pitting this time. Real aggressive on entry there. And that should cycle back to Doug Denise. He's going to hit this time as well in the Space Force 40 car. Now Kyle Diaz will inherit the lead as he is just in front of Colin Bollinger in the 53.
Yeah, Diaz knows he's got to be pretty quick here.
Osborne got a black flag. And he is as confused as any of us about why that is. quick look back at Osborne's pit exit. He was given a unsafe pit exit. Black flag. Nothing really jumping out to me about his pit exit. Not sure about that one. He's going to ask to have that one cleared and reviewed post-race.
Yeah, it's almost better that way. That way you can at least keep on racing. Worst case scenario, you wind up at the back, but...
Now, through all that pit cycle, Bollinger is back in the lead, but Kyle Diaz has gained a whole bunch of time, and now he's on the bumper of the 53 here in this final segment.
Yeah, and in front of him
Point
is one of the fastest drivers on track. Just bad pit cycle is going to be what looks like has the ability to cause Adam Boughton not to get the finish he probably deserves here.
Yeah, Boughton has shown speed all night, and that kind of alternative pit strategy. Man, and it just comes out of this. At this point, there's really only maybe 1, 2, 3 drivers that are going to pit here between now and the end. If you're Boughton, you're kind of just stuck where you are until a caution comes out to save you.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can, just didn't fall quite the way he needed it to tonight. At the moment, anyway.
Bollinger has now led 76 laps on the night, the most of any driver by double.
Goes down to the inside of Bradley Rivers. While these guys are single file, let's see if we can take a look, see maybe what happened here with John Osborne real quick. A little bit of time here as they're single filed out.
And the only thing I can think is he gets pretty close to that white line.
I don't know that he went over it, but that has got to be what it is.
Yeah, nothing egregious, that's for sure, but sometimes iRacing's picky about stuff like that.
Especially on these legacy tracks, it's not quite as defined, I believe, as the new freshly scanned ones.
Especially when you're the driver getting that penalty, you're thinking, hey, give me a break, man. It wasn't that close.
Bollinger's starting to pull away here out to almost 7/10 now.
As we see Furtick starting to make his move on the 26.
I mean, Kyle Diaz basically did what we were talking about. You have to do something different to try and get better track position, and he was able to do that. He came in on lap 189, which was 3 laps sooner than Bollinger or Furtick, and he has been able to jump 3 or 4 positions here and is racing, for a top 3 right now.
Yeah, he made the most of that last, round of pit stops and pit strategy. As he kisses the wall there. Sparks are flying, but he's not slowing down.
Looks like Furtick was looking down to the inside, thought better of it, pulled back behind that 26 machine. Going to go to the inside as they come down the front stretch.
Diaz, one of those drivers who I feel like we talk about all the time, but just doesn't have the finishes to kind of match where he's running mid-race. He is all the way back in 24th in points.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, I don't know if it's strategy that kind of does him in, or he winds up getting involved in a late race incident. But he always seems to be, running inside that top 10 for a good majority of the race. And then all of a sudden, he winds up finishing outside the top 10.
The 53 now enjoying a 1.2 second lead over the 51. At this point, he is just driving away. No more pit stops unless there's a caution or something like that.
Yeah, I imagine if we see a caution, everybody's going to come down, get those last set of tires.
Yeah, just 9 cars on the lead lap. That 9th car being Adam Boughton. Imagine he's going to go a lap down not too long from now.
They're running almost the same times. Actually, that last lap, it looked like Boughton was ahead by almost 1/10 of a second. So,
yeah, I think Bollinger's really saving his stuff. Every lap, he is gaining a little more gap over Furtick, and that's all he needs to do is maintain that gap for 22 more laps.
yeah, I don't know which I'd rather be in a basically all-out kind of dogfight with somebody right behind you, or have this huge lead where there's really no pressure. Basically you're thinking, I just don't need to make any mistakes.
Yeah, that last lap, though, he lost almost 2/10 to Furtick. That's not going to work. You've got to be a little bit faster than that. You really want to run like a 30.1. That would be the ideal lap time here. He's running 30.2s. So is Furtick and Bailey.
And they all match lap times last time by.
By a 30.3, a 1/10 slower than Furtick. We might have a race on our hands here in about 10 laps.
He is definitely running him down.
Yeah, both of these drivers now on pretty old tires, but they're doing the best they can. Furtick can see him up there. Trying to be as smooth and fast as possible. That time around, they're pretty much matching lap speeds.
There's no real active passes going on track. Everybody's kind of single filed out, has at least a few tenths between drivers here.
And Bollinger's speed really starting to fall off. He's now running a 30.4. A lot of the other drivers around that time, but Furtick running a 30.3, doing everything he can to catch Bollinger with now 16 laps to go and 7/10 of a second difference between those two. That lap, another 10th and a half for Furtick. You can see Bollinger losing time each of the last 5 laps. Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. That lap, the first one that Bollinger was faster than Furtick in about 10 laps.
It looks like Bailey's been able to get around some lap cars, so he's going to be trying to push his way up and stick his nose in this battle with 14 laps to go.
Furtick giving everything he's got here. Now 0.2 of a second faster that lap. Really starting to track down the 53. Both of these drivers on old tires. They pitted on the exact same lap 28 laps ago. This is all about tire management and navigating this legacy Charlotte track.
Lead down to 4/10.
Pretty much matching lap times that last one by. This is setting up for a fantastic battle for the lead. 350 miles come down to the final 10 laps.
They're a little loose there coming out of 2. Going to lose a little bit of time. Looks like he gained it back through 3 and 4.
Yeah, lap time's falling off, but for everyone pretty equally. 30.7 for both drivers that last time around. This is the point where when you're catching someone, you start to get their dirty air on your nose. So Furtick just can't follow in the tire tracks of Bollinger. He's going to have to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, and that's exactly what is happening here with Bollinger trying to just stay right in line with Furtick. Just keep that dirty air on that 51 Chevy.
Yeah, Furtick is catching him, but the rate at which he's catching is really slowed down. 8 to go. Right there. Bollinger really leaving the bottom open. A lot of clean air there for Furtick on entry.
They're down to 2/10. He's there. He just has to figure out when and how he can get by. 7 laps to go when they hit the stripe.
Both of these drivers doing everything they can to squeeze out some lap time. Right there, Furtick able to gain the 0.5 on entry. That's the first lap in a while where the 53 has been faster. Holding that lead steady at about 1/4 of a second. 6 laps to go.
Almost down to a 10th there, coming through 3 and 4. Furtick trying everything he can.
Again, he's gotta keep clean air on that nose as Bollinger kind of leaves a little bit of gap on the bottom. 51 gonna take it. Now behind them is a lap car on fresher tires. That's Ryan McCall. I'm not sure if he's gonna push the issue here or not, but he could get involved.
He could definitely play a part here in the finish of this race. Furtick down to the inside, gives a bump there to Bollinger. Bollinger spins out, goes into the wall. McCall's behind him. Bollinger staying rolling.
Didn't really see any aggressive contact, but the 53 definitely got sideways. Just 3 laps to go. Furtick now comfortably in the lead.
Bollinger set in second right now. It's got almost 0.8 of a second back to third place of Tristan Bailey.
Yeah, 51 pulling away.
Yeah, fresh air is going to do that for that 51. Set for a thrilling finish. Slight mistake, little contact. And Furtick is now out to a 2.5 with 2 to go. Furtick gets the white flag. One more time down the backstretch.
Splitting those final pit stops just right. The 51 come back around and take the checkered flag in the ECR 350 here at Charlotte.
Dwayne Furtick's going to pick up the win here tonight. Hard-fought race.
Yeah, just 3 cautions in this really long race, and the first one coming on the first lap. Really only 2 cautions after that.
Burn it down and then we'll go take a look at the pass for the win here. We'll get some interviews done. All right, while he goes and does that. Let's. Take a look real quick at the pass here. Looked like a little bit of net code there, but a little bump.
Yeah, like I said, it was not that egregious of a move, but 53 really got sideways.
Let's see if we can get third place up here in the booth. Tristan Bailey up here in the booth for you.
Tristan, you got Shane and Mike in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up?
Wow. I mean, we saw you out there. What a long, grinding race. Just 3 cautions, and the first one coming on the first lap. So that one almost doesn't count. Really just 2 cautions over 350 miles. You led 29 laps and brought it home P3. Tell us about your night.
Wish I didn't have steer and did a wheel damage. Apparently I got when I was following Tyler that one stretch. I barely nicked the wall and it gave me a 0x, but it gave me wheel damage.
Yeah, that's definitely going to slow you down. But, I mean, you still look pretty fast out there. Really seemed to come down to pit strategy. How were you deciding when to pit as we kind of doing a lot of mental math here in the booth to figure out what was that final fuel run going to be?
It kind of we just ran it dry, I think the first couple times, and then just kind of started pushing a little bit here and there to try to catch them back because there was a good gap me and Tyler had on the leaders, and me and him pushed it and closed it back. I think he pitted a lap before me or something, and I was able to catch up to him. But I don't know. I guess I should have pit one lap earlier. I don't know. I'm terrible at the undercut. I rather try to chase them down, but I just push the tires too hard, trying to get around lap traffic, don't get out the way, and then trying to pass Kyle there.
Absolutely. I mean, by the end of the night, there were only about 8 cars on the lead lap. So P3 is definitely an accomplishment. Congratulations. Who you got to send some thanks and shout outs to?
Thanks to my all the teammates here, and then thanks y'all for broadcasting this, and I guess being a clean race. It was pretty clean, like I said, after those first couple cautions, and that was it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you get back to your Saturday night. Congratulations again on the podium finish, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Or
Actually,
I guess we
we're off
got
next week.
Yeah, we are off next week. We'll see you the next week we're racing then.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, let's see if we can get Colin up here in the booth. Hey, Colin, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
It's going, man. What's going on, fellas?
Well, not too much. That was a heck of a race. Heck of a pit strategy kind of race, too, after the first few cautions, and then you guys kind of had to figure out where you were going to pit. How was the racing out there here at Legacy Charlotte?
I mean, honestly, the track's pretty good. I mean, I like it, honestly, more than the Charlotte we had today, but no, I mean, the race was pretty good. It was pretty spread out after that first official run without any cautions. So, I mean, there wasn't much really going on. Everybody that I was kind of passing was already either on old tires or maybe they were on a new cycle, so they were passing me. So it wasn't really much racing, only between me, Dwayne, and Tristan there throughout those 3 runs. But, it was a good race. I think other than the first 30 laps of that race where we were kind of wrecking each other, it was good other than that.
Yeah, definitely. You were looking like you were going to win the race. You guys had a hard-fought battle. It was going to be a close finish there. Looked like a little bump in there, but you still bring home a P2. How do you feel headed into the rest of the season?
I mean, I'll probably feel better about tomorrow, but I mean, we raced relatively clean all night, and then we kind of just get driven through there. So I mean, it is what it is. But that's what we're gonna do. I guess I can kind of do the same stuff. I guess I don't want to, but hey, I guess it's fair now.
Well, we'll see what you can do in a couple weeks when we're back out on the track. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Not tonight. Just thank you guys for broadcasting, and just had a good time. So
Definitely, man. Well, I will talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll bring Dwayne in the booth for you, Shane.
Dwayne, you got Mike and Shane in the booth. How you doing?
Pretty good, guys.
All right, man. What a grind of a race from the beginning to the finish. 350 miles. We saw you get a pass for the lead there in the final laps. We were counting it down, watching lap times. Just walk us through your night.
It was an up and down night. Car got very, very tight on that run. 53. Having that last run and got ahead of me. I made a very aggressive pit stop to try to at least keep it close in the pits. I just saved my tires there on that last run.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw maybe a little bit of contact, maybe some net code, depending on how we were looking at it. You know, kind of walk us through that pass for the lead there at the end.
Yeah, I definitely think it was net code. From my vantage point, the way he shot up the track, it definitely from my view didn't look like anything like that. But yeah, him and I definitely rubbed some fenders all night. I think like that's the third time we actually made contact in some form or fashion. But he's an awesome driver. But yeah, just very thankful for my teammates. Car was just awesome tonight, pretty stable. It did change a little bit once the weather dropped, so just turned down the brake bias and saved the tires, and it came to life. Ran them down.
Absolutely. Congratulations again on the win. Anybody else you need to send some thanks and shout outs to?
Thanks to my amazing wife. Thanks to my awesome teammates again, Southern Alliance Racing, South and Kane. Awesome group of guys, and thank you guys for the job you do in the booth.
Yeah, we appreciate you too, Dwayne. That was win number 3 on the season for you, cementing your position there as a leader in the points. And we'll take a week off next week for Memorial Day, and then we'll see you back here again on the next Saturday night here with the ECR. And congratulations again.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
So that will do it for the interviews. Let's go ahead and bring up the race results. Wayne Furtick, Cullen Bollinger, and Tristan Bailey finished the top 3. Kyle Diaz, Tyler Burton, hard-fought battle in the top 5. John Osborne, Doug Denise, and Adam Boughton are going to be the last cars on the lead lap, the top 8. And you have Pete Walsh, Michael Carter, Christopher Roth, Kent Mueller, Ryan McCall, Bradley Rivers, Matthew Crago Jr., Stan Carnathan, Michael York, Andrew Chapman are the top 18. Kane Lee, Gary Nash, Anthony Ludi, and Marshall Harris round out the 22 drivers that took the green flag here tonight. And like you said, we take a week off, and then we get back at it at Gateway on the 31st to round out the month of May. But for the longest race of the season, these guys put on a show. It was going to be a hard-fought battle there for the end. Lots of pit strategy came into play. What did you think of the race? And what else do you have to say before we get out of here tonight, Shane?
Yeah, I think I just, as always, just so impressed with these drivers here at ECR. I mean, this was a long race. We saw that first lap caution. That really could have set the wrong mood for the night. But these drivers kept it so clean for the rest of the night. After that, really just 2 cautions here in the race after that lap 1. And I think that says it all. That really let it play out to 2 drivers on similar strategies, had speed all day. It came down to a pass with just 5 or 6 laps to go. That's pretty incredible when you look at a 350-mile race here at Legacy Charlotte, using up everything these drivers had in terms of fuel mileage, tire savings, raw speed. It was all there. And Furtick just brought it home. Nobody could touch him.
Yeah, definitely the fastest cars all night wound up in the top 3 there. pit strategy kind of played a role for the 94 of Adam Bowden finishing P8. But nonetheless, good race here from Charlotte as we pack it up, take a week off, and then head back for Gateway. But from all the drivers of the ECR NextGen League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night. We'll see you in a couple weeks.